We want to sit down?
Never, we can.
You want to
We
go
go
in?
inside?
Yeah, well, never miss an opportunity to keep your mouth shut.
That's right. That's a profound one there.
Hey, brother.
Hey,
How you?
well, I'm alive and well, you know, among the living still.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought you were going to be out of town.
Well, I am. As of tomorrow, I'm gonna be in Hilton Head, South Carolina for a whole week. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
I sure am. I have been, spent all day yesterday packing up all that junk I gotta take down there so I can use it, have fun with it, and then come back, and unpack it, and store it again.
You got nothing else to do.
Well, I wish that was true. I tell you what, I got a couple of people I promised I'd do some work for them, and one of them I'm just not real sure about. The cabinet is pulled away from the wall.
There's no table in there.
Uh-oh.
We'll go down here.
Nobody around tells, you know, there's something called a phone and a messenger on your phone, everything says, change and look down here. Jesus. There's one right here.
Yeah, you can go in here.
Yeah. All right. There, go in. Oh, watch out.
Have you been to Johnny Boys?
Johnny Boy, I don't know that one.
Yeah, I sent you that yesterday.
Oh, did you? You sent me something to look at?
Yes, sir.
I was busy pulling stuff from places I didn't know I had. Had to call my,
I'll be back, Chester.
Okay. Yeah, that's a restaurant you can, check it out. It's just like,
Oh, is it a place to?
all you can eat.
Oh, is it?
It is. So I shared it with you yesterday.
Okay, well, I'll look on my phone and messages, cause I'm gonna go by tomorrow, all the way up to Columbia, and then go down to Hilton Head. Cause I got a cousin that's really sick. I'm gonna go see him. No big, no bad. Not even bad. Macintosh. Sometimes you don't think.
That's an old Ricky Rudd shirt you got on there.
Yeah, it was given to me. This lady's really nice. And she's a sister to a woman I've been dating for 30 years.
Yeah, okay.
And so her husband died.
Uh-huh.
And so she said, Mac, would you like some clothes? I said, yeah, I always take some clothes. She said, well, you let me, I know, can you wear extra large? I said, oh, yeah. I said, well, I got plenty of clothes I'll give you, because I want his closet and to put clothes in. I mean, I can dress every one of y'all in t-shirts, this right here, all kind of shirts.
Oh, really?
And she said, he's got 5 leather jackets, because he rode a motorcycle. She said, would you like a leather jacket with a liner in it? I said, yeah, I'll take that too. I mean, she dressed me for life, and I don't know how much more I got. I said, good Lord, I got drawers full of daggone t-shirts and everything. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I wear triple X.
Huh?
I like to wear triple X.
Well, I used to wear two XLs myself, but that was when I was 245 pounds of gorilla, you know, just getting shirts to fit like that.
I wish I could have met you back then. I would like to have seen.
Oh, man, I tell you what, I was a gorilla. My mother says, I am not fixing meals for you anymore, because I ate five meals a day. And I said, Mother, you kidding me? She said, no, you be in the kitchen tomorrow morning, we're gonna start show and tell. And I did, and she did. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Learn how to
Being a
do
team.
Full breakfast, bacon and eggs, go to school. The lunch, like the sandwich
Oh, yeah.
and Cheetos or whatever I had, in lunch, I'd eat at the 10:30 break. And then I'd buy lunch.
But,
to eat
yeah, no,
at
oh, yeah.
lunchtime, and, go home,
Yeah.
eat a snack, and then go get dinner, and then something before you go to bed.
No, no.
6 meal a day,
God, I tell you what.
teenager, so.
Man, I was in that daggone gym. See, and back then, we had a YMCA. We didn't have all these gyms you got here. you had to go down to the basement, take your sandpaper, so you can sand this rust off the daggone bars, because nobody lifted weights. And I got with this guy, his name was James A. Bear, and he looked like A. Bear. And James said, come on, Mac, I'll show you the way, but he did too. I mean, he worked my butt off. So it made a difference playing football, I can tell you that. Good Lord. I played defense, because I like hurting people, I just didn't like to get hurt. Oh, gosh.
What was your playing weight?
My play weight was 245. I got high as 245.
That's as a defensive lineman,
Yeah, defensive end.
defensive end.
Yeah, left defensive end. I sure did. I had
You
a
play
coach.
standing up or?
I'd be in a squatting position, but if the guy in front of me really got down and they sit up like it was coming my way, like a
A sweep or?
sweep,
something?
yeah, I'd get down low near him
Uh-huh.
so that I could hit him and get him out of the way, and I'd be standing in the middle of the blockers, and so I would jump on the blockers, and my cousin, who was playing outside linebacker, would come and kill the guy. I mean, it would be him and Dee Dee. And boy, Dee Dee would put it on him. And God, it was so interesting how you could, I learned how to start nonverbal communications. They would look, you could watch their eyes or the way they position their feet as to where they're gonna be going, and they would never know that it was telling me just exactly what they were going to do,
Yeah.
you know?
What kind of offenses did teams run back then?
They ran,
Wishbone?
yep, sweeps and off the left tackle or right tackle,
Oh, okay.
and then there's do a, yeah, or
Yeah.
spread, you know, and we used to do a spread, then you take the end, and he'd back him up over here, you take the halfback in the slot, move him up, so you have an unbalanced line, but you never really know unless you've ever seen that done. And they would, you could really score good then, I tell you that.
Yeah.
They would do all kinds of things. We had a coach that could have done college, football, but he had the heart to take care of a bunch of old redneck lintheads, quote unquote, in mill towns.
Mhm.
We had a school, it was LBC, Langley, Bath, Clearwater, and they were one of those mill villages. None of them were, organized village, it was just a mill, it was a mill, and all the houses around it was built by the mill.
Right.
So everybody lived in them and worked in the mill, so,
Mhm.
yeah, Langley, Bath, Clearwater. We didn't have enough, we'd have, the B team would dress out with the A team on Friday night to play football in high school, because we didn't have enough players to have you know, some of the big teams we played, they had an offensive team, a defensive team,
Right.
kicking team, receive, we didn't have all that.
You guys had to play both ways.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure did. Yeah, he would get us ready. Down in South Carolina, we had a little thing called sand spurs. A little, you know, it comes in grass and
Yeah.
mosquitoes, and we'd get out there and you know what was coming. You know, we'd go out and do the exercise and do those jigs with your legs, you know, left and right, then he says, hit the ground. You know what that meant. Them stickers would be all over you. You get up and your t-shirt was stuck to you.
Mhm.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
make it tough,
okay, well, let's get started here.
okay?
Let's have an open prayer.
Mhm.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day and just an opportunity to get together and go out and face the world and see what joy it will bring us today. Please watch over us, always guard our hearts in Christ Jesus. Let's keep always our eyes on you and understanding that you are the truth, the way, and the life. In Christ Jesus. Guys, I gotta share a phrase. Last weekend, I had a fantastic Father's Day weekend.
Oh, good.
Good.
On Saturday, my three sons got me on an actual golf course for the first time in literally 40 years.
Oh, God.
I mean, just circumstances I had not been on a real golf course.
Where'd y'all
40
play?
years. Legacy over in Cobb County.
Oh, yeah,
right next
Windy
to
Hill.
Potts Creek, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, partly because it's par 3 course mostly, twice, putted for birdie, missed them both. And 8 times, I putted for par, missed
Wow.
every time. And I finished with 6 legit bogeys and 2 double bogeys. And
Wow.
both the other holes, it ended up being you either picked it up for pace of play, went
Yeah.
Lake, you know, or just you got a mulligan and redid it. But on the legit holes,
Mhm.
I mean, that
That was pretty
that
good.
exceeded my expectations.
I mean,
greatly.
They aren't gonna
If
wanna
you had
play
some-
with you anymore, you
Yeah,
hitting
no,
that.
we did good, and my 3 sons, because one of my middle son, who's getting married, a week from tomorrow, he picked the game up about 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And of course, this week, they're all up to Hiawassee, they're bringing them all down, so they're playing golf several
Oh, yeah,
weeks in a row, doing that. So then my other 2 started going to driving range and trying to, learn how to swing, that kind of thing. And so that was, good week of last, just doing anything with your adult children.
Oh, God.
It's a
Right,
joy.
Oh, God, it is.
And so that was fun and everything, but then on Sunday, then that, evening, Marie and Barrett, they share an apartment here in Dunwoody, and then they had, they cooked dinner
Oh, cool.
and stuff, and they gave me a set of golf clubs.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. What'd you call me? I got 4 sets, and I done give one away.
Yeah, so.
Oh, my God.
Go pick it up. and-
I assume it was an extra, set, the golf clubs? Was it an extra set, or were they brand new?
No, they were new.
Oh, wow.
They went and picked up, I guess Barrett needed a putter, from the set he had was just I don't know where he came
Put it together, yeah.
Lamar had bought a set, but like on the way home, I went with, I forgot to tell you, on Saturday after golf, then Benjamin and I came back home, they went to play against sports, but it went through pictures to use at the wedding, we had the slideshow, with
Okay.
mom, so that was nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They too, mixed in there, but when they went that way again, they bought me. Set of golf clubs.
Oh, that is
so,
super.
Yeah, you know.
Wow.
It's
It was
one-
just a good, it's really.
No, it was, it's gotta be.
You know.
And you know, the thing about it is just that when you're younger, you can turn the body like you're supposed to and everything. When you get older, you can't turn the body up.
You lose a gear, and so now, like, I can't even really swing a club hard.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, if I work at it, I'm gonna get some lessons, it'll get better.
No, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But now, it just, the fluidity of the movement, the body thing, I'm noticing that all sorts of stuff that I used to could do.
Uh-huh.
It's not that I just can't do them as well, I simply can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
lose a gear and you're using like your late 50s, and I'm noticing.
Then you get people like me, who has an artificial shoulder on the left and rotor cup on the right that was bastardized and.
I remember somebody told me, they said, when you turn 50, every injury you ever had of any significance,
Goes knocking.
it comes, it's kind of the truth, all of a sudden, you know, things that hadn't hurt for 25, 30 years, and all of a sudden it comes back. I wanted to read, in 1 Samuel, chapter 8. And this is about the whole bit coming to, Israel asked for a king. So I'll let y'all catch up to that.
First Samuel?
Yeah, 1 Samuel, chapter 8.
Or, Tom and Jeff,
They're out.
they're out today?
Yeah, they're both out of town today.
Okay.
We went through the book of Jude last week. It's been a long time since I
Mm-hmm.
read that.
Uh-huh.
All right,
First Samuel now?
1 Samuel,
8.
chapter 8,
Okay.
verse 1.
Got
The
it.
NIV?
It was right before, right before Kings.
Mhm.
So, all right. Israel asked for a king. When Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons as judges for Israel. The name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second was Abijah, and they served at Beersheba. But his sons did not walk in his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and perverted justice. So said to him, you are old and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have.
Mhm.
When they said this, when they said, give us a king to lead us, this displeased Samuel. So he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord told him, listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you that they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king. As they have done from the day I brought them up out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so they are doing to you. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly, and let them know what the king who will reign over them will do. Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking for a king. And he said, this is what the king who will reign over you will do. He will take your sons and make them serve with his chariots and horses. Some he will assign to be commanders of thousands, commanders of 50s, and others will follow the ground and be the first. Still others will weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers, and he will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive groves and give them to his attendants. He will take a tenth of your grain and all of your vintage and give it to his officials and attendants. Your men servants and maid servants and the best of your cattle and donkeys he will take for his own use. He will take a tenth of your flocks, and yourselves will become his slaves. When that day comes, you will cry out for relief from the king you have chosen, and the Lord will not answer you in that day. But the people refused to listen to Samuel. No, they said, we want a king over us. Then we will be like all other nations, with a king to lead us and go out before us and fight our battles. When Samuel heard all that the people said, he repeated it before the Lord. The Lord answered, listen to them and give them a king. Then Samuel said to the men of Israel, go back to this town. This is kind of what, it's an example of, all right, it's what you want, I'm gonna give it to you good and hard. Is this, but, twice in that chapter it mentions about how the people wanted to be like other nations. And, in my lifetime, like looking at my country, and I've always seen this parallel that we want to say, oh, we revere, this past, and it's great, but look at what they're doing over there. We want to be like this, we want to be like that, and always serve and be like other people, like other things. And, I just thought that was powerful. He told them, okay, you want this authoritarian rule over you, this is what you're going to get. And they wanted it because they'd rather be like others than having the responsibility of.
We do it in our personal lives.
Yeah.
Look at our world today. Prestige, power, and control is the leading thing. My grandson, he builds a house, and in 6 months later, he goes buy another house, because his income started really rampant, because he's in real estate. And so he goes buy this big, humongous 3-story house, after he's in a brand new house. He goes do that. And I said, Brian, you need to put some money back, son. You got a child now, but you think, no. So he goes out and buy him a new truck, And this sucker is one of those big ones. You got a step comes out, you got to step on to get in the cab,
That's like your truck, right?
Yeah.
Your truck's like that, right?
And I said, look at mine. Mine's a pickup truck. It's 10, 12 years old. I drive to Home Depot. I said, throw it in the back. Don't worry about the scratches. You don't know. You don't want you to touch it. But they, I want to be like everybody.
Yeah.
And I just.
It's a powerful lure.
It is.
And it's the whole, you keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on the prize, whatever. The various metaphors we use. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, that statement itself, it violates one of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not covet what that neighbor has and everything, and envy.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
they aren't happy with what they have, because what Mike has looks better.
Yeah.
Well, I look at our countries. God give this country here a role model of for the people, by the people, for the people, you know, a government that's set up completely different. There wasn't one king who dictated all. It was set out that people had a choice. They actually got to vote and all this, and there was, a long time ago, a lot more truth and honesty in reality. Now you look, it's all greed. I mean, money talks. Money
Well,
talks.
Proverbs, you know,
Mhm.
it says it several times in the Bible about money being the root of all types
Yep.
of evil, or root of all, I mean, it says it in
Mhm.
different ways.
Oh, yeah, no.
And I've always noticed that it can start out,
I think it says
as greed. but
the
it can-
love of money is
Yeah.
the word, not just money itself.
Yeah,
Money itself is okay, it's the love of that.
yeah, the love of it.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, when everything becomes about nothing but the money, it changes all the behavior, you know, all the ethics goes out the window.
Mhm.
You know, if it's only about the money.
Right.
Yeah, and I've seen this, that's one of the problems that happened in modern American industry, is that it just became purely a financial instrument.
It is.
And not about the fact that, no, you know, you build, the ethics about, you wanted to build a quality product that was safe, you know, and function properly. But if it's only about the money, it's just a financial instrument, there's no long-term incentive to do things right anymore.
Well-
It's like now they budget for, oh, we know that we're gonna get sued. We know the long-term effect of this, and so they'll just budget for it and set it up corporately to where they turn and dump the liability into a
Yeah,
separate
the
like,
pharmaceutical
corporation.
company, the
But
pharmaceutical.
no ethics, because all it is about the money.
It's like, you know, that's it, even with doctors and
not about the-
pharmaceutical companies.
And not about the national interest and things like that. So that's, you know, I sit there and I think about a lot of this when we're looking at so many institutions in our society and how, you know, we're recognizing some of them are out and out corrupt, but a lot of it too, I can see how they're, you know, humans being humans, if you don't periodically and routinely make minor course corrections and make sure that, hey, you know, is what we're doing consistent with God's commands? Is what we're doing consistent with the mission of the company and the mission of the organization? You get this drift, and next thing you know, you're going sideways to what your stated purpose is, and next thing you know, it's like, what good on you? You know, no one has any use for you anymore, because you're off over there when you're supposed to be going that way.
Well, that's what happened with pharmaceutical companies, and when we get medications, but then, like, I go to Costco because they give you a write-up of all the bad things that can happen. You know, this is the one good thing, well, this is all the bad things that can happen, but they sell it to you like it's the good thing that happened. And you look at, some of these other things, I go to the dentist yesterday, and, they sit there, they said, well, we're gonna have to x-ray your teeth, and we're gonna have to take pictures of your teeth. I said, what are you gonna take pictures? So I can show you. I said, oh, I don't need that. If it hurts, fix it. If it don't hurt, leave it alone. And I mean, it was amazing. Then I sat down with this young man who told me how much my insurance company is allowing for me to have, and these are all the things that they could do, because I go twice a year. These are all the things they can do with that money. I mean, it wasn't about my health. We was talking about how they can use the insurance's money in their company. You know, x-rays, taking pictures, so we can show you. I can open my mouth and see, you know, well, this filler here, it's been in there a long time, you know your age, and look, it's got this little tiny crack. I said, you know something? And you wanna take that metal out and put something in like the tooth quality. I said, the tooth broke, didn't it? So why would I want to change something that's hard and sealed and do the opposite?
But, you know,
It's absurd.
back in here hey there, in 8, verse 3, chapter 8, verse 3, when it mentions about the son did not walk in his ways, they turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes for justice. And there's a historical note here, or a study note, about perversion of justice through bribery being explicitly forbidden in the Pentagon. You know, that it's, once again, that this dates back to the most ancient concepts of justice, and that there was this also kind of a perverted justice and bribery being a way to do it. And as we see today, and that's part of the human condition, is that people, you know, and it's easy for me to say, like, if it's a marginal amount, it's easy to turn that down. It's easy to have strong sense of ethics and morals. But what would you do if you're faced with like life-changing wealth decision? If I look the other way on this, my children, I can have wealth that can affect my children. And if you look, if you pay attention to what's going on in Washington and in 50 state capitals across this country, there are now, the public servants aren't just getting a little bit nicer. They're getting into, you know, 9-figure bank account, just mind-boggling wealth is occurring. And it's just that perversion of justice through bribery. And, you know, so much of a lot of this, the historical narratives about the kingdom of Israel, the nation of Israel, and even into the New Testament times too, it's just an affirmation. If you step back and you look at today, nothing's changed.
No.
You know, we got technology. That's the only thing that's changed. We have
And
technology.
it's just used in a different way, but it's the same, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know, you're absolutely right.
Oh, Samuel, it was in 1 Samuel chapter 8. It was about Israel asking for a king.
Well,
But that's-
Romans 12, 1 and 2 also comes to mind. I mean, it applies to a lot of different situations, including this one.
Oh, yeah, that, especially 12:2, because, you know, do not conform to the patterns of this
Right,
world, but be
especially that.
transformed by the renewing your mind.
Uh-huh.
Then
And,
you can test God's will. All right, and that to me is always the key about this discernment verse. It's like, and I say this all the time, it's like, and people ask me about current events, and it's like, well, assuming that what you're seeing on the TV is reasonably complete and accurate, because oftentimes we're finding out after the fact, what they were reporting as gospel was about 180 degrees, 90 degrees different from the truth. And you always got the completeness issue too, but that bit about testing God's will. God's ways aren't man's ways.
And see, the testing,
Yeah.
because I'm a math and physics major, and I served as a statistician for a company for a while. And, you know, it got down simple. What you want the outcome to look like? I will give you a formula that'll get you there. You know, and that's basically what it is that they will
Like we're being
report.
corrupted and perverted and justice.
When you do a sampling plan, you need to make a sampling plan, and it should be, but they will get 100 people that they know that's where they want to do. They'll test all of them, they say, well, here's our test, and this is what the results is. And everybody says, oh my God, well, they didn't do a good test. That's the ungodly truth about the thing. And I go back in the Bible, and you can see my notes I made. And I got a thing that I've got 28 pages that I've gone back and people ask me questions, and I go look them up, and I made a reference to all that thing. So it's a reference for me, so I can look it up real quick for you.
What's,
you know?
what's interesting about, in my notes, back to Samuel in 8:3, where it talks about his sons.
Yeah.
Mine says here that it's also a reflection of Samuel, who was too involved in his ministry to watch over the spiritual welfare of his family. So as a result, God was dishonored. So there's a little side piece there as well. The sons were corrupt, and Samuel was too busy to notice
That, you know, that's
or
the
do
issue.
anything about it.
No, isn't that's an interesting thing, and I hadn't thought about that in that way, but, and they'll tell you themselves, PKs, pastors' kids,
Mm-hmm.
I think they have targets on their back or something, because it seems that so many
Oh, yeah.
people that I know that were in some type of clergy role and stuff like that, the issues with their kids, going back to me growing up, you know,
Mhm.
just, it's, I mean, some of them follow, you know, obviously you see some that follow in
Right.
the footsteps
But
and
most
stuff like
don't.
that. But a lot of them, some
No.
of the problems in that, and I wonder if they're spending, because they're spending so much time on others, they can't properly lead them. That's a big part of the basis of like the celibate priesthoods, and, you know, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with that, but it just, I understand the logic behind what they're saying, and that's
Mhm.
what it is that because,
They
you
never
know,
work
you can't be
out.
a proper husband and father,
We got
and
100%.
also be in that role, it's too demanding of your time.
Well, we were talking about Romans 12:2,
Yeah,
and in 8:5, my notes say,
Romans.
not sorry, Samuel 8:5.
Yeah.
Going back to Romans 12:2, but in Romans 8:5, my notes say, 3 reasons are given for elders' request about wanting a king: the corruption of the sons, but the desire to conform to the pattern of others. And we were just talking about, but that's, that's the second one. And the third one, the need for a military commander. But anyway, the second one being the desire to conform, I mean, that was a big part of wanting a king. And that's what the scripture alluded to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, the bit about leading in battle, and that's something else, because, I mean, when one war dies down in my lifetime, another one comes up. Constantly. And I'm not, and whatever's going on, once again, I don't get security briefings. I don't really know the details of what's happening in the Middle East or any of that kind of stuff. And so, it's not really giving judgment, but I can look up and find public quotes from the Israeli perspective in 1985. They're weeks away from a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
All of these nations, when it comes time to whatever big action, it's always that they're weeks away from a bomb.
Well, now they got a new weapon.
Or for a while it was Russia's gonna invade
Yeah,
Western Europe, and I always said, okay, give me an example in history where Russia invaded at peacetime Western Europe. Russia has enough trouble managing Russia.
Mhm.
It's already a continent in and of itself, I mean, it's like, but, and I don't know, there's good guys and bad guys, there's mostly bad guys in power.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like the vast majority over there.
I've been in Moscow and in the territories around there and see that there is no homes like we have here, in the city of Moscow. The reason being is the government built, like we're building here, big apartment complexes, all these things coming up by large corporations, and the government owned every bit of them.
Yeah.
And then when you go in, when the wall came down, you went in there, the mafia, who was the strong arm of the government, they would go in and they give the flats, the apartments to the people, and what the mafia did was go in there, bring your door down and says, okay, you got option A, you sell this to us for a real good price. Option B, we're gonna kill you and take it anyway. Which one do you want to do? And that's the way they did them. And when I went over there, there was
Back to the perversion of justice.
there was a 2-foot wide, 1/4-inch steel around the door going into the apartment. And the door was a steel door too, with hinges on the inside, so the only thing you saw was a keyhole. So that the people who lived there could get in and close that steel door and close their wooden door, so the mafia could come in and take their place. It was the most unbelievable thing. And those old apartments, they said, Matt, you can buy one of these, 6, 8-story building for about $10,000. I said, really? Are you kidding me? He said, no, go over and hit one of those bricks. That thing just crumbled. He said, and they use aluminum, instead of copper, no elevator work, they aren't even worth tearing down.
Well, okay, and, I mean, so, the biggest victims of communism were the people who had to live under communism.
Yep.
Those nations, and it took them, you know, it took them 70 years to throw the communist yoke off of them.
And you'd see
That's
'em-
just, you know, I mean, that's what, that seems to be the pattern, is it takes about 3 generations.
Right. Well, these people would get on,
But so we're back to, like we say, that when you're trying to navigate the world and understand, you know, what is God's will.
right,
And it's easy to say the words, your will be done, but what is that?
but see, most of the work,
I'm gonna interpret events based on, you know, not only
Yeah.
just my perspective, but we all have our biases that we're gonna have a tendency to view things in.
Well,
It's
this
important
world-
Stepping back a little bit.
well, this whole world doesn't embrace Christianity.
No.
That's what you gotta look at. This whole world doesn't, so it grows from, you know, a seed, which is the biggest seed. It
Well,
grows from
okay,
it.
you brought that up. And I have to admit, I've been struggling here lately with a lot of stuff in
Yeah,
the news. And it's more the perspective, I sit there and, like, my wife watches Fox News and stuff like that, which is, you know, Fox is, as far as the cable news shows and stuff like that, they're fine. But this cheerleading aspect over mass slaughters of people, like it's a frickin' video game. And also, it's like even the news story, oh, anti-Semitic acts. Christians are the ones who are being persecuted, murdered all over the world. You know, those are facts, those are documented facts, and it just, you know, you don't hear about that in the news at all, but it's Christian, and you know, since you know, this century alone, some of the oldest Christian communities in the world, which were in the Middle East, I mean, they're totally devastated. You know, a lot of this overthrowing these dictators in the Middle East led to the mass slaughter of the Christian communities. I mean, even Saddam Hussein and Bashir Assad, they said it was the Christians that they put in all the bureaucratic roles because the Christians were the only trustworthy people in the nation. That they were the only people whose philosophy was that it doesn't matter if you support the king per se, that I'm here to do my job, and you know, the Lord will provide, and that type of stuff. And so once again, what is God's will on all this?
Well,
stuff?
that
And
can-
I don't know, but it just, there's these assumptions that we have, that this is a good guy, this is a bad guy. Not things that most of them are bad guys. So, yes.
I was gonna say persecution of Christians just points towards the end of times. It's mentioned in the Bible that we will be persecuted as it gets closer. And what people would think is right is wrong, and what people would think is wrong is right, and everything, so.
Well, you know, a good friend of mine is Jewish, Jeff Steiner. We prayed for him in this room before. And I mean, he is so close. He's reading the Bible right now. I mean, and just seeking. He is so close. This has been going on for years.
I know.
Conversations and stuff. But that's what he's pointing out now, that he's concluded, that protest at Columbia University. Remember, half the people protesting against Israel are Jews themselves in these protests. And he said, it's not Judaism is the one's attacking the world. He said, it's Christianity. He said, that he's now connecting the dots. And, you know, so, I mean, which is a good thing. I mean, it's, you know, like someone in your life, you know, personally, you see it's good, but that's what's happening. Is that and it's a sign, you know, that we're over the target, because we're taking the flag. In a sense, that you know, a lot of the troubles, and when we look at things falling apart, it actually has strengthened my faith, because it's what Christ says is gonna happen. It's what they've been telling us, and to me, it just adds to the veracity of the Bible.
Right.
Now, whether or not we're on the verge of end times or not,
Only God knows.
I don't know the hour of the day, but sure it does look like it sometimes.
Well, the only thing I can control is
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Nothing else, I can control me. That's the only God in me controls me. So don't sit there and point your finger and tell me what I need to do, what I need to do. That's,
Yeah.
you know, I gotta be, conscious of the fact, I'm guilty of anything I do. I didn't do it because, Richard told me to do it, or John told me to do it, or Sam told me to do it. No, I made the final decision. Everything you do, everything, comes from a thought, your brain. And you make that decision no matter where, and you're totally and regularly accountable for it. People will not take that. They will look for a scapegoat. What would you think, Mac? So he could say, if it's wrong, Mac, I did it because Mac told me to do it. You know how smart he is. No, that's not the answer.
And Marta, I have a question. Were you still living in Venezuela when, I guess, was it Chavez that was the,
Chavez was
brought in communism, right, or socialism?
Yeah.
Were you living there when he was elected?
Yeah,
Was it an honest election?
it was an honest election.
Yeah, so they chose.
Yeah.
And Venezuela was a modern,
After
thriving
that,
country.
after that is when it came, you know, to turn everything in a different way. Because I believe, you know, Chavez, because he went into power at the first time, he wanted to overthrow the president that was there. He was judged and, found that he was, you know, rebel against against the government. He was a military back in those days. And
Chavez.
because of that, you know, the United States denied him the visa completely to enter as, you know, here as a citizen, not as a president, as a citizen. So he it looked like, you know, the relationship with the United States was not the best because of that. When he was elected, then he got into power, the situation was different because he was president. So, but still, United States maintained with him like some kind of distance because of the way he wanted to rule the, you know, the people. And, he started discovering a lot of, bad, deals that
Like corruption.
corruption.
Yeah,
That the government, not just the one before, but, you know, all the government before did through the oil and, you know, with the United States. So what happened, United States, or the companies that were operating in there, they were paying nothing really on taxes. I mean,
No, that's the corruption that
it
goes on.
was like 10 cents, but they kept that, and when he started discovering all the corruptions, the people got so angry because of, you know, why they lied to us so many years, you know, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Then that deal
First three
didn't
right there.
like the United States, I mean, as a government, because it was hurting really, I mean, the oil company back in the day. But it was true, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a lie, it was true back in those days. Now, he was afraid that he was going to be killed, I believe, and that's why he turned out to be protected by the communists. And he went into, Fidel Castro back when he was alive, and he offered him protection. But he, you know, in exchange for protection, you're gonna do what I say.
Yeah, that's where it was in
You
Russia,
got-
the mafia, and I mean, they were, we talk our mafia? They were ruthless. It was scary.
Okay.
I've been to
So
Venezuela.
that's why
It is-
he turned into,
Yeah, I was on mission trips to Venezuela.
Okay, so what you just said, is everybody, you know who Huey Long?
Yeah.
You've heard of Huey
Governor
Long?
of Louisiana.
Yeah, this is back in the 30s.
30.
It's the same story, the same thing happened, is that once again, you had, big oil companies, chemical companies operating, and Louisiana was a bunch of people who were barefoot, illiterate, dirt roads, I mean, third world, basically, conditions, and, some of the environmental damage is still being felt today that happened, to those areas, and so then, but it reached a point where Huey Long, then he gets elected. But for most of my life growing up, I was told Huey Long was a bad guy. Now in Louisiana it was a different, he was obviously honored and things like things named after, but as you got away and I moved to Atlanta, more and more as I read like conservative politics, Huey Long was a bad guy. He was a communist, a socialist. But then you start, and there's been a bunch of books, like All the King's Men, the fictionalized stuff like that, but when you start looking at what went on, and realizing that he was being hated by the mainstream media back then, but because of the same thing, he was saying, no, you're making $1 billion here, you can build a road. We're gonna put a, penny on the, barrel or whatever tax, so we can build schools and stuff like that. How just completely backward. I mean, Louisiana was New Orleans, largest commodities port in the world still to this day, okay, huge port. But before the Industrial Revolution, what was really big in there too was the slave trade. Okay, I mean, and so most of Louisiana was cotton fields and, rich soil, floodplains. There was no industry or anything like that,
I'll tell you what, first time.
And you could hunt fishery. So, I mean, that's kind of the way the world was, and so this bit about perverting the accepting of bribes and perverting justice, what it turned out is that there were officials in Louisiana that were doing very well, but corrupt deals and, like, you're turning against your own people for personal gain, dishonest gain.
Same thing happened with Cuba.
Yeah.
Same thing with Batista.
Well,
It is.
Batista was really affiliated to United States. He was living in here for a long time, then he came back to rule, and that's when the things turned bad, because corruption went through it, but the fight that Fidel was against, Batista, was because it was like dictatorship. It was a dictatorship, and he was battling. When he overcome Batista, he went and looked for support of all the countries, even the United States. But because of the way they did it, through election, they turned him down, and all the countries, even in Venezuela, in 1959, a year after, they turned the president Betancourt, and back in those days in Venezuela, he said, no, we're not gonna support you. And because he knew that we had the oil and we could support him, but then he didn't have any other choice but went into the Russians. But the Russians, they came out and says, okay, we're gonna help you, but we're gonna rule.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
gonna tell you.
and that's the way it is here.
I mean, you can
Y'all just don't want to bid,
Yeah.
but that's the way it is here now.
Okay, and, all right, Batista, my father worked in Cuba when Batista fell. And I remember him talking about, and my parents were ardent anti-communists, I mean, totally. But he said this very thing, is the problem is that, Cuba, yeah, it was a blast if you had money to go there, but you had a bunch of third world peasants serving a bunch of rich Americans, rich Europeans coming down there to gamble and
Well, New Orleans was the same
That's
damn way.
right. I mean, you have this kind of stuff happens, and it's exactly right there, and then this, so you don't, and I heard it put one way, that men will always seek justice first through legal means, then through other means. And that's what happens. So if our legal system does not provide justice, or at least then what choice do you have? If you're hungry and starving, what choice do you have?
Take a
But
bribe.
to vote for the guy, the chicken, here's your all the guy that did the chicken in every pot, if you've ever heard that.
Mhm.
That was his campaign slogan.
Yeah.
He said, my God, a chicken, and at that, apparently at that time, chicken was considered like the cream of meat, but,
Well, I can tell you, New Orleans, when I went down there
Yeah.
to visit, we went out and we went over, cause we started going to some of the town on the, near New Orleans, itself. And, so they was renovating a lot of these old homes, and I said, let's sort of like Langley, South Carolina, when the mill village was in total control, okay? And these people there says, you seem to be like real nice, but you Americans, get out of this area before the sun goes down, or you will be in deep trouble. They will attack you because you are Americans. I said, really? He says, yes, this is not a safe place for Americans. They're poor, they blame American people for all this, da. So we got out, right out of there immediately, never thinking, this is part of the United States. But no, it was in like Langley, South Carolina. You're a redneck, linthead, and you don't belong anywhere else in this country. And I could go somewhere and people would turn their back on me. And I said, well, what? I work hard every day. And my father was straight as an arrow. He was so straight, it was unbelievable, but they didn't care about that kind of thing. He lived in Langley, South Carolina, like I did. And, it was headless showers to grow up and get outside of that. But my mother was very, very prominent about us, my sister and I, getting out of that concept of who we were. I'm just being honest with you. Because the mills, it was United Merchants and Manufacturing, they were out of New York, then Granite Company, they were at the other end, and it was a battle between those two, but they controlled us to the nth degree. If they come and you didn't go to work, they would come to your house and take everything, because that was their house. Take everything out of it, throw it in the street.
When it's only about the money,
Yeah,
you're
that's
nothing
all it
but an
was.
economic unit. And
That's all it was.
That's what, you're just an
Yeah,
economic unit.
my children today still don't believe I was 12 years old before we had a bathroom inside the house.
You think about, all right, the two greatest commandments, love God, and love each other. Didn't say like each other, but your actions, geared towards love, and that once again, so towards, whether they're public officials,
Mhm.
you're the manager of the mill, whatever it might be, these are still people. And so then I go back, like I mentioned the stuff in the news, the cheerleading aspect to war, and I don't know what, Israel's surrounded by people who
Hate it.
assume the same, hate them and stuff like that. And these are ancient hatreds and all that kind of bit. So I don't know what they're necessarily supposed to do, but the situation in Gaza is an absolute catastrophe of epic proportion. I mean, you've already displaced literally millions of people. There's, I don't know how many are dead, and it's an absolute disaster. And, and it's important, and I don't know, once again, I don't know what I don't have a solution to them, to their situation and what they're doing, but it just, like I said, this cheerleading aspect of the news,
Well,
it makes me, it's like, guys, there's, you're not supposed to cheer this kind of stuff. And fortunately, I do believe President Trump is really trying to,
He is.
but
But see, you got three
he's
factions.
not in control of the world,
Yeah, you got three factions in control. Give me the military, give me the news media, give me the banking system. With those three, I will rule your world. I promise you.
Isn't it interesting about the whole?
Those three was all you needed.
Yeah, the whole credit base,
Well,
credit bank system.
Personally, I believe that first was, the first presidency of, Donald Trump. They didn't know what to do in order to, to overthrow him.
Oh, no, they didn't.
And, it came out to be the virus, COVID. That was, and I'm talking about world powers debating
Yeah.
about, the course of the action of the countries, I would say, not just one country, but of the countries. And they didn't find any way to fight Trump back in those days, but with COVID. With COVID came, they knew there were gonna be a lot of struggle. So,
Yeah, what you
that's
got
what
to do-
happened.
That's what you got, look at the news media, how it popped it out there, there's nothing can cure it.
That
Yang,
was-
yang, yang, yang.
And now look,
Yeah.
now, they say, how can we stop Trump? Well, we have to do something. And the world power who's managing all of these bad things around the world, what they do? Well, let's make a conflict. And there's a big conflict right now. It hasn't been forever. Iran trying to, develop their technologies. But now why? Why, make it so trouble? Because they know it's gonna be something that, hey, this is serious what is happening right now.
Mhm.
And that will drive all the attention of Donald Trump in order to maintain this country at.
He's gotta get Russia and them start paying back tariffs like we pay them. See, the money's been flowing out, all our industry is gone, we have no way to make an income. There was a book that came.
And guess what? And so the world is opposed to that. And I always, the real conspiracy is the spiritual level. I mean, that's how.
It all starts out, that's where honesty is.
People who don't know one another will work in lockstep and stuff like that, because I mean, that's kind of where it is. But,
And the bad thing,
But- go ahead.
and the bad thing is, that's how I see it, okay? The bad thing is here, there's a lot of people that they don't care, but for their own goodness. They don't care if you're bad, or, they don't care nothing. So there is a lot of people here that think like that. They don't care about the country, they don't care about people, they
They
care
don't care
about
about this
themselves.
church either.
Yeah.
You look in this room right here, when we started this thing, there was 25, 30 people, guys in here. How many we got in here now?
6.
Yeah. That shows you just how important Christianity is, just like you were saying. It comes back to faith of being truth, honesty, righteousness, and integrity. It comes out of this word here. That's what it is, and we don't have
What does
it.
the Bible tell us? My daughter, who's a pretty solid biblical scholar, tells me there are 365 references in some fashion commanding us, do not be afraid, not to have fear. Basically tells us every single day not to be afraid, and what is that powerful thing? Fear. I look at Kingswood United Methodist Church over here at Tilly Mill and North Beach. And that's where the scout troop my kids went over. And so I still volunteer, and so I mow that. Somebody else, their time of their service on Sunday, Tilly Mill parking lot last night had 0 cars in the parking lot. They just had like maybe 24 cars over in their main parking lot. They stayed closed for over a year. They're not gonna recover,
Well,
I mean, it just,
Well, you hear.
fear took them over, and so many of the churches, that was during COVID, that was a disaster for a lot. But faith tempered by fire, maybe it's a necessary thing, because if it's a lukewarm faith, how many people get deceived by the feel-good lukewarm and get trapped? So maybe it's a necessary thing.
well, you look at Royal Baptist Church,
Yeah.
where Eddie come from. When I first heard this country, they had 500 people in a singles ministry down there. I mean, it was just rambunctious, it was awesome, Now, they're having to sell off stuff just to keep that church going. I mean, it was enormous, right there in the middle of all of commerce in Atlanta right there.
But one thing that's probably happened in Kingswood is the Methodist church is split.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got that.
Is it a, still United Methodist, or is it a global
I think they
Methodist?
are, and knowing the people I know that are there,
Mhm.
yeah, my guess is they
Okay.
You know, we'll see, but, you know, I mean, basically, it was the American church.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what went on with the Methodists, but they had this big split over gay clergy.
Right.
And, I mean, it's what happened in the Episcopal Church 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and.
Now we have,
They're
now
a tenth of their size.
it's
We have a bunch
infants
of
right
different
now, it's not
churches.
just in the church,
Yeah.
it's even the cities. Now we have parades downtown Atlanta,
But those
Yeah.
are dying,
you know?
and then interesting, they just did this, you know, they're talking about the prime parades, so it's like, all of a sudden, a lot of the funding stopped, a lot of corporations are just, now they've quit because you don't have government policies basically commanding them to do these things.
Yeah.
And so, you know, these are actually, you know, good signs. I mean, I don't get too wrapped up on that issue just because it's just part of the
Well,
general. heat of
it's sort of like,
you know.
it's sort of like a wound though, if you don't heal it,
Yeah.
it keeps growing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It keeps growing. It's like cancer. It's like this squamous cell I got here. It's not malignant, but it spreads and takes over.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to get it cut out like this, that deep, then it has, that's just what we're talking about here. You know, the first church was called the Way. Now, that was biblically based. Now, how many churches do we have, denominations we have now? It wasn't because God said, here, and then when you get to the New Testament, you gotta have 500 or 600 different denominations. And y'all just make it, he didn't, in my Bible, it didn't say anything. It still says the same today as it did when it was first written. That's what's happened. Mankind is playing God, and we're gonna be Baptists and Lutherans and Presbyterians and nothing, because we don't agree with that, you know. Baptists, we don't drink, we don't chew, we don't drink, but they, women that do, I can show you this Bible where they drink wine and beer.
Well, you,
Okay?
if
And
you
it
notice,
wasn't-
a
it
lot
was-
of churches today don't even show a denomination anymore. It's like just the vineyard or,
That's right.
the encouraging, yeah.
Non-denominational Christian. Yeah, just calling them Bible churches. There was a little bit of a discussion about that a few years ago here. And Alan then went through a sermon series about, okay, what does it mean to be a Baptist? But they talked about that, it's been more than once when there was discussion here, whether it just becomes like Dunwoody Community Church or stick and say as a Baptist church.
Mhm.
And so far, we decided to stay as a Baptist church.
Whatever was popular with the community, that's
Yeah.
what,
Mhm.
you know, it goes back to mankind's decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who won't go to a church or whatever because they've been hurt
Yeah.
in
Oh,
previous churches and everything, and so again, mankind messed up the relationship that those people might have with Christ. Or
But I think what we do here, what we started to do, is we got here, and we started basing things, I have started basing things on this book. Am I perfect? No. God says nobody's perfect but me, you know, but I will forgive you if you come to me sincerely, and I'm looking at your heart, and I already know. So I mean, I live it, the reality is, you know, when, Eugene gave us that Bible that time, I still got mine. He says, this is why Jesus died, and it's a little small Bible, wood, it looked real good. You open it up and it had a mirror in it. What does it say? This is why Jesus died. And you hit me right in the heart. I'm thinking, I'm totally and irreparably responsible for every decision I make, good or bad, I don't care where it come from, I'm still responsible. And if it's wrong, you better get on your knees and ask God to forgive you in a sincere way, because he already knows whether or not you really mean it. I mean, we don't even trust that God really is.
Well,
He
that's
knows
true.
everything that before it happened, he created.
Well, in Samuel chapter 8, that was the whole, you know, the people
Yeah.
just clamoring, despite the fact that previous generations have had, you know, amazing miracles, you know, pillars of fire from the
Mhm.
sky, the Red Sea parting, manna from heaven and all that, and they still would doubt. You know, gosh, think about us having faith today. We didn't see all those things we've read about. Maybe it's easier to believe can't imagine what that would be.
I wouldn't think.
But I think
They
that
wake up every morning, you know, and there's manna from heaven, and everything they're commanding you to do, you know, you see somebody touch the Ark of the Covenant, and they died instantly. You know, you would think there would be no doubt, but it just, and, you know, when people, like I say, quit going to church, or make kind of childish comments about miracles, a lot of them happen. First of all, miracles do happen, but once again, you're talking about the highlights from thousands of years of history of one tribe, basically. But not only that, it didn't work. That's the lesson I take. All those amazing miracles in the desert from, you know, it didn't work. They never
Right.
seen the grass, and it wasn't the stick.
No.
It wasn't the snake on the head of the pole.
It wasn't-
All that. It wasn't any of that kind of thing. So that's just, once again, humans are by design, we seem to want to listen to that type of stuff. Gets back on kind of, at the kind of the, like nation level and these, you know, big organizations. And I was looking for it here, I forgot exactly what it is, but when Jesus is baptized in 40 days, okay? And the temple always got me. It says Satan took him to the highest mountaintop where he could see all the nations of the world. Okay, so this has got to be past, present, and future. Okay? Showed him all the nations of the world and said, I will give these to you if you bow down and worship me. Christ rebuked Satan, I worship God alone. He didn't challenge Satan's authority to hand over all the kingdoms of the earth. So, you know,
But
all we can
you
do
know,
is, so we've talked about this many times, I don't care what your system of government or it is. If you populate it with corrupt people, you're gonna have a corrupt system.
and the thing about it is, people say, well, I'm a Christian, and everything's gonna be good, you know, life will ride, and something bad happens. You think that devil's gonna turn loose you just because you accept Christ? He's gonna be on you like ants on a piece of candy, tempting you every way on the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that, I do know that it is so.
And that's the sad.
When you're not, because when I was living without Christ in my life, and then I began to sincerely seek, and it was, you know, sat down reading the Bible, you know, I started in Genesis, and with a willingness to believe, that's kind of how I intellectually began to pray. Oh, my goodness, I came under spiritual attack. It was just,
Unbelievable.
I thought I was going insane at times, and things that were running through my mind that were just horrible, just, you know, vile and horrible, and it was kind of like, and I didn't you know, at first I was like, what's going on? And things reached, believe me, I didn't get to the end before, you know,
I know.
I had accepted Christ and it came away, but then, the moment, when I had my moment, literally on an airplane, from that time, for about 9 months, it was as though I had no temptations at all. I don't know if y'all ever read Frank Peretti novels.
Yeah.
The spiritual
Piercing
warfare.
the darkness.
Yeah, so that
This present
imagery,
darkness.
the imagery that they use
Yeah.
about spiritual warfare is very valuable as a model.
Right.
So I pictured it, it's like as a new believer, it's like, you know, the Holy Spirit dispatches some big badass angels around you.
How you spell his last name?
Huh?
How you spell Paredes' last name?
Peretti,
P-E-R-E.
I think P-E-R-I-T-T-I or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, Frank Peretti. I'll look it up here in a minute.
Cause I haven't heard of him in years,
That's right, but so.
20 years, I
it's
guess.
that bit that gives you this protection, but you're gonna have to walk on your own for a while. You can always call on him and get, you know, these guardian angel, whatever. That's how I relate to it. You can call on them and do that, but you know, we have to.
Build that will
Yeah,
ourselves.
You know, we've got the historical record that shows us these things happen in this pattern of humans. It's like Solomon said, there's nothing new.
Well, see, I see it like growing up as a child. My daddy don't protect me anymore. When I left his house and got married, you were on your own, boy. It was like a different world. And I would, he would say, well, son, I went over to Sears and got me a circular saw, and I thought you
Yeah.
might want one, and I'm saying, I'm gonna watch this guy for 6 months, but he's up to something. cause I left his house. All of a sudden, I wasn't his responsibility. I was an adult, I was on my own. And that's what God tells us. Eventually he says, I'm gonna get you where you need to be, and you've got to make those decisions, cause you gotta be held accountable. You can't keep saying, well, God, why'd you let that happen in my life? Why'd you let my child die or something, you know?
Yeah, we're not truly on our own.
Well, no, we're not truly, but,
Unless we reject God.
well, he's not gonna hold your hand all your life. He's gonna be there when you wanna call on him and say, God, please forgive me. But he's not gonna sit there and protect you like that.
Any, prayer
Take
requests?
it.
Well, yeah, okay. All right, take it.
His last name is spelled Peretti.
Frank Peretti, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good storyteller,
Mhm.
but he's written several books, but he wrote these two that were, sequels, or Piercing the Darkness and This Present Darkness, where he's describing a lot like current events going on, but it shifts between the humans, and then it describes the spiritual, the imagery of demons and stuff, and anyone that reads it, they come away, it's like, wow. You then, you're in a parking lot, so when you see something, you start thinking about, this is just like in that, you like picturing a demon sitting on someone's shoulder with their finger in their brain, there's one of those scenes, and
Yeah.
it's creepy, but he's a good storyteller.
There's another book that, and I wish I could see the name of it. But it talked about, when America, and they gave a real bad situation like we are right now, and China and Russia agreed to come help us get out of our problem. But in the end of the time, once they helped us, China got the west coast, and Russia got the middle, and we end up with 13 colonies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in this book.
Huh.
And there's those visionaries, it's just.
Well, as end times, it tells us it's gonna be the push to one world government, and they're gonna implement it. It's,
Yeah, I don't know, they tried that a few years ago, and then you don't hear anything about it now.
yeah, but they, the left, well, not the left, they play the long game. It's amazing when you read stuff written like 100 years ago,
Mhm.
you've heard the quote before, the long march through the institutions and things like that, and it was,
But there are visionaries,
yeah.
and I always bring the one up about back in the old days when they had the cartoons in the newspaper and everything. They had one about Dick Tracy, the detective.
Yeah.
What kind of watch did he wear?
That smartwatch, yeah.
Yeah.
You doggone right. Way back then, people said, what a stupid idea.
The communicators at Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's a cell phone, but that's.
And you see, it started coming, now where are we? We with AI now. But it's scary to see, some people back then had visions,
Oh, yeah. Any prayer requests?
Well, I have a cousin, his name's Finley Garvin, and we're 6 months apart, and we grew up together. But he has an aneurysm in his back, it's so big that they said if it burst, they couldn't get him to a hospital. He'd bleed that, yeah. And so he's in the hospital now. He's big as I am, and his son, brother, told me he's down about 100 pounds. He said he looks like a reject from a glue factory. He's got pneumonia in the hospital, and he has a blood clot in his arm now as well. And hopefully they've gotten that out, because he started having a leak, and found a doctor in Charleston.
How old is he?
He's 81 years old, same age as I am, 6 months apart. And so he's still in the hospital. I'm gonna go by and see him tomorrow as I'm going down Hilton Head to see how he's doing, and if I can go back and just be with him. He's like a brother. I didn't have a brother.
What's his name?
Finley
Finley?
Garvin. Yeah, and so yeah, if y'all would just ask God to intercede for him, and he's one of those people who's got all the money he needs, and it ain't helped him to live any longer, So, but he's like a brother to me, because I didn't have a brother.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I've got a buddy of mine, we were in the, grew up, together, going to church together, we were in the youth group. And, we've maintained contact, he's having a heart ablation as we're speaking. It was supposed to be at 7 o'clock at Emory Midtown. And he's, 2 years younger than me, so he's like 58 years old.
Okay.
David Bowman.
David Bowman.
What's heart ablation? Music now. New music. Next to you. Single later volumes available now. Attachment. Don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got some new things out these days. Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Okay, and of course, I have a prayer request. It's both a praise and request. My middle son Benjamin is getting married. Her name's Helena Bronte. That's a week from tomorrow. We're getting married.
Nice.
Very good.
Where are they getting married at?
It'll be in Marietta. But she's from like Altoona, she went to Altoona High, and
Okay.
they're from that area, and they're gonna be living in Kennesaw. So
Okay.
that's where they're in that area now, so, yeah, it'll be in Marietta. She's actually in the wedding business, she's a florist, and she does weddings, and so it's good because now, she has a network, so a bunch of people, they're getting it's not that big of a wedding, but it's really,
Right.
really nice venues for.
Well, my thing
A
is,
friend of mine, people keep asking me, well, you ready, you ready, or whatever, and I'm like, well, my role's easy. Just, all I gotta do is say, yes, how much? And that's like, well, it's, with the groom side, but it's just, I keep it simple, and like I told him on stuff, I said, just, make sure that, you're getting what you want to do, and we'll pay for it, you gotta be, just be reasonable and stuff, but yeah, and like I said, that's just like rehearsal dinner, and I gave them, I paid for their honeymoon as a Christmas present, going, this coming Christmas, so.
Nice.
So it's nice to be able to do some little things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even your adult children, so. Okay.
Please pray for our country that we won't become communists.
amen to that.
Yes, absolutely, Chester. Just whether you call it communism or socialism or whatever ism that we can come up with,
Let's continue to remember
Civil war right now. But I'm hopeful, but it's not gonna be easy. It's not about just winning an election. The perseverance of, and having the courage of leaders.
Yeah.
So,
Let's
I'm hopeful, but I'm it's concerning that everything going, so yes, Chester, we will, so. All right.
Let's continue to remember the senior pastor search committee.
Yes, and if any of you feel so motivated, like prayergrams, just encouragement, I know Marie's on the committee, she follows the confidentiality strictly, but I know how they're getting tired. They've been close, and then things have
Yes.
not come,
Yeah.
because it's big, but it's an important hire.
No, exactly.
Leadership positions are tough, because it's not as simple as they don't work out in 6 months, you replace them, it's a different aspect, so. All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we praise you and give thanks to you for this day, to come together in fellowship and friendship, and to study your word, and just to share what's on our hearts and minds. We have friends and family in hospital and medical situations. Please watch over their caregivers and give them a sharp eye and strengthen them in both in their health and their mental health and their spiritual health. I ask that you watch over and bless the marriage of Benjamin and Helena a week from tomorrow. And we'll also watch over our country, Lord, and just turn our eyes towards you, to all those who are seeking, let them hear you, and some of those who are just in ignorance or blocked out, find a way to speak to them. Put someone in their lives that can touch them and communicate with them. And please watch over the pastor search committee here at Dunwoody Baptist. Strengthen them, give them the proper resolve and clarity of purpose. In your holy name, Christ Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, everybody have a great
Yeah.
evening.
Well, I'm gonna have a great week next week. I'm going to Hilton Head.
Are you?
Yeah.
With, your daughters or?
Yeah, well, the whole family, I started it back in 1977 when I first moved here. I told my children, I said, we're gonna go somewhere where the in-laws, outlaws, and other-laws can't find us. So mothers couldn't call us for a week.
I spent a good portion of the summer of 1980.
All right, Chester.
Is that right?
And uncle opened a restaurant.
Okay.
It was Holiday Inn, and there was only one other restaurant that time. He opened one, it was called Dos Barajos, kind of a Tex-Mex
Right.
thing, and we helped him get up and started and
Oh,
working, and
man.
it was a blast, but you had I think you only had one golf community built out of that.
Yeah.
God bless we kids.
Take care.
Take care. It's,
It's
and
still.
now we wouldn't buy.
Speak up at the pastor.